Peru is experiencing a social explosion in the aftermath of the congressional coup against democratically elected President Pedro Castillo. The present crisis is just the latest in years of political turmoil in Peru, which has seen 6 heads of state in 6 years. Current President Dina Boluarte has a higher protester death toll than days in office. Massive caravans of citizens from all over the country have mobilized to Lima, the capital of Peru, so that their demands are heard. They want the resignation of Boluarte, the immediate call for general elections, and a referendum on creating an assembly to write a new constitution.
Tiene que irse Dina Boluarte, que no la queremos, y ni el Congreso no nos representa. Queremos libertad, queremos respeto a la vida, porque no se puede normalizar en un país democrático el asesinato de esa humanidad. Nosotros no nos vamos a retirar hasta que esta señora se vaya a su casa.
How did it get to this point? Back in July of 2021, Pedro Castillo was elected president as a representative of common Peruvians. A rural school teacher from the Andes, Castillo came from a world of rural and indigenous peoples, far from that of the established political class representing the traditional elites in the capital.
El pueblo votó por Pedro Castillo, por sus promesas de campaña y por estar cerca del pueblo. Apenas ganó Castillo, no lo han dejado gobernar, porque realmente siempre los grupos de poder económico, los grupos empresariales son los que prácticamente han dominado al país. Se han llevado todos nuestros recursos naturales y de donde se extrae prácticamente se vive en pobreza y extrema pobreza.
By December 7th of 2022, Pedro Castillo was facing a third attempt from Congress to vacate him, but his detractors didn't have enough votes. Yet, after Castillo attempted to close Congress, the opposition forces closed in. Without the support of the military, Castillo's attempt to close Congress was defeated, and he was arrested just a few blocks from the government palace by police on charges of rebellion and conspiracy. 2 hours after Castillo's arrest, Congress voted to formally vacate Castillo from office. Vice President Dina Boluarte was sworn in as president with the backing of the opposition. Despite originally being a leftist candidate and elected on the same ticket as Castillo, Boluarte closed ranks with the opposition and gave a speech in support of the congressional coup. That same day, large protests erupted demanding the release of Castillo and asking Boluarte to declare new elections immediately. As Boluarte appointed right-wing ministers in key positions of power, protests expanded to other cities in the country.
Y más aún, ahora que el gobierno empresarial que no ganó el proceso electoral ya lo recuperó, porque Dina Boluarte está representando ahorita al modelo empresarial. Los congresistas están haciendo lobbies para realmente reformar la Constitución como ellos quieren. Y ese es el rechazo y esa es la indignación que tiene el pueblo peruano en estos momentos, ¿no?
On December 11th, the first 2 murders by police were recorded in Apurímac. The next day, President Boluarte presented a bill to Congress to bring forward general elections, but in April of 2024. This prompted protests to increase, and 8 civilians were killed again in Apurímac during police repressions. A 15-year-old teenager was among the victims. Boluarte responded by declaring a state of emergency that enabled the military to intervene. Human rights organizations warn that the move will bring more death and violence. On the first day of the state of emergency, a massacre occurred in the city of Ayacucho. Soldiers were recorded shooting live ammunition at civilians when they tried to take the city's airport. The shooting moved to the streets of the city, killing 10 people. Some of the victims were not even participating in the protests or were only assisting the more than 52 people already injured.
Mi papá fue un inocente persona que le han matado. Él ha salido solamente a ayudar a unos de los heridos. Inocentemente le han disparado a mi papá. Yo pido mucha justicia y a la prensa que me ayude. Que mi papá, hasta su muerte no debe quedar así. Yo pido justicia por mi papá.
La actitud del gobierno ha sido incrementar la represión. Si bien empezó con una respuesta también represiva, que fue la masacre de Ayacucho, que fue la primera que se dio en el mes de diciembre, contrariamente a que eso signifique parar su respuesta o modelarla, Al contrario, ¿no?
Protests then expanded to the regions of Arequipa, Junín, and La Libertad. The violence escalated with the burning of public properties such as a local prosecutor's office and the judiciary. Demonstrators blamed infiltrators, and images of agents disguised as civilians next to the police came to light. Political persecution followed with the search of offices in Lima of social organizations, peasant unions, and political parties. Leaders accused the state of planting weapons in their offices, such as machetes. The police and the prosecutor's office tried to charge the target organizations with terrorism. However, with the support of the National Human Rights Coordinator, all detainees were released.
No somos terroristas, yo soy licenciado, yo he servido a mi patria.
La criminalización de la protesta se ha dado en todos los gobiernos y se ha acrecentado en este gobierno dictatorial de Dina Boluarte. Peor que en la época de Fujimori. Hay una fuerte represión. Ya no se puede marchar pacíficamente porque es quien te reprime la policía. Y esto se aúna a una persecución que hay en contra de los dirigentes sindicales, populares. Estamos desprotegidos. Y esta persecución que se está dando a diestra y siniestra, la tenemos que enarbolar, la tenemos que decirla a nivel internacional.
2023 began with mobilizations at the national level and had its most critical point in Puno, where another massacre occurred. 17 people were killed on January 9th during police and military repression. Autopsies carried out revealed that those who died had been shot. Others passed away days after in hospitals.
Empezó más bien nuevamente con una violencia indiscriminada y generalizada, ha militarizado los territorios, se mantiene el uso indiscriminado de la fuerza, hay seguimientos a las personas que hacen un uso solidario y quieren apoyar a las personas que se están manifestando, quienes recaudan dinero, víveres, etcétera, ¿no? Y también hay dificultades para nosotros en el ejercicio de nuestra labor como abogados defensores de derechos humanos. Tenemos limitaciones para ingresar a las comisarías y poder contactarnos de manera inmediata con las personas que están detenidas, ¿no? También hay restricciones para que los brigadistas de salud puedan cumplir con sus funciones. Y también, por supuesto, la prensa, ¿no? La prensa es uno de los sectores también que, digamos, más abuso ha recibido en términos de uso indiscriminado de la fuerza, a pesar de haberse identificado claramente, ¿no?
The increased killings and violence has provoked growing solidarity from many regions in Peru, manifested in the mass mobilization of protesters to Lima. Large caravans of trucks, buses, and cars transported volunteer citizens who left their cities amid farewells, tears, and applause. Meanwhile, the Peruvian prosecutor's office opened a preliminary investigation against Boluarte for the alleged crimes of genocide, qualified homicide, and serious injuries.
La investigación va a tener que ver con responsabilidades en lo administrativo, de quienes dieron las órdenes, cómo se dieron las órdenes, etc. Tiene que ver también con responsabilidad penal. La justicia penal tarda, pero llega, eso lo sabemos. Y tiene que ver también, por supuesto, con responsabilidad política, que es lo que hasta ahora no hemos encontrado, ¿no? Si el gobierno realmente tuviera un propósito de enmienda o de cambiar esta respuesta represiva, lo primero que hubiera tenido que hacer, obviamente, es por lo menos remover a los jefes militares y policiales que están en la zona, cambiar a su ministro del Interior, a su ministro de Defensa, a su presidente del Consejo de Ministros, ¿no? Nada de eso ha ocurrido.
Dina Boluarte denies responsibility for the killings and has tried to portray the protesters as a minority who are being blackmailed, manipulated, or bullied. However, multiple renowned surveys contradict Boluarte's claims. For instance, one survey from the Institute of Peruvian Studies revealed that 74% of the country believes that she should leave office. Another blow to democracy came when a police tank destroyed one of the entrances to the National University of San Marcos, the most emblematic in the country. The police entered without the presence of a prosecutor and without a court order, and arrested citizens and students who had come to Lima to protest and were staying at the university residence. A police cordon outside did not allow the entry of lawyers. Among the people arrested was a pregnant woman with her 7-year-old daughter and 3 journalists from Puno. After almost 2 days, they were released. As massive marches continue in several regions, Lima had its first fatality on Saturday, January 28th. A tear gas bomb was shot directly at the head of Victor Santisteban Yacivilca when he was with a group of medical brigade members. An independent media outlet, Huayca, was able to obtain security footage from a commercial building showing the murder by a police officer. The testimony of the brigade member who treated Victor, the police intervention report, and the autopsy concurred that the cause of his death was the impact of a hard object. No police officer is being investigated for this murder.
Y solo hay un llamamiento al diálogo, pero de una manera absolutamente desconectada de la realidad, ¿no? Por un lado te invita al diálogo y por el otro lado tiene una metralleta en la mano.
As protest continues, more fatalities are expected, and Boluarte and her allies in Congress are expected to continue to cling to power.
Thank you so much for watching The Real News Network, where we lift up the voices, stories, and struggles that you care about most. And we need your help to keep doing this work, so please tap your screen now, subscribe, and donate to The Real News Network. Solidarity forever.